Hi, in this video we're going to do an introduction to universal literature. We will see how literature advanced from telling the adventures of national heroes to revealing more of the human being throughout the examination of his passions. First, we have the epic genre, which is a long narrative poem recounting heroic deeds. This term encompasses both oral and written compositions. An epic may deal with such various subjects as myths, heroic legends, histories, edifying religious tales, animal stories, or philosophical or moral theories. The prime example of the oral epic are Homer's Odyssey, and outstanding examples of the written epic include Ludovico Aristos' Orlando Furioso in Italian and Cantar del Mio Cid in Spanish. Next, we have epopee. It is a subgenre in which adventures of a hero are told in a poetic narrative. That means facts are narrated, but the structure is in verse. It has most of the characteristics of epic. Some examples are the epic of Gilgamesh, the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana. The Middle Ages started when the Roman Empire fell in 476 and ended in Constantinople in 1453. Through that period of time, there were a lot of events like the Crusades that influenced in the literature. The genre that proliferated was the epic, and epopee was called Song of the Heroic Deeds. These songs didn't have just one author. The community composed them. This helped societies to create a national identification and set their political, geographical, and cultural characteristics. The important works of the time were mostly the poem of the Cid, or El Cantar Mio Cid, written between 1140 and 1157. It was based on a real person. This poem recounts the adventures of the quintessential animal of the time. The Renaissance time period was a transition between the Middle Ages and the modern age. It was at this stage that the men tried to get rid of religion, and art also changed dramatically. Shakespeare, considered one of the most important writers of literature, didn't have a lot of scenography, and some of the general characteristics of his poet plays were: the story showed the past of the protagonist's life. The hero died. The future of the hero was destroyed by natural events, and the innocent always suffer. Shakespeare's work can be classified as tragedy, such as Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet, or historical dramas, like Henry IV. During the Baroque period, Spain excelled in literary production. The Golden Age began with the birth of Cervantes in 1547 and ended with Pedro Calderón's death in 1680. Cervantes is, just like Shakespeare, considered one of the greatest of literature. His first novel, La Galatea, was published in 1585 and incorporated several stories that intertwine a novel element for the time. Don Quixote de la Mancha was published 20 years later, in 1605. Don Quixote began as a parody of the novels of chivalry. It is considered the first modern novel. It mixes several narrators, it uses the resource of a novel within the novel, and it has two worlds, the reality of Sancho Panza and Don Quixote's fantasy. Also in this time, Lope de la Vega became one of the most important dramatists with El Maestro de Danzar and La Dama Boba.